Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. Also, thanks for joining us today for another exciting talk. I would think because this particular talk has been requested by you. All right. So the last session, all of you have been asking for this particular topic to be addressed, and here we are. All right. So if you have signed up via the link, right, you all will notice that there is a pre-session activity this week. So later on, I'll just share this link again in the description box so that if you are watching it later, you can also participate in the quiz to find out about your love language. All right, without further ado, let us begin. Awesome. Okay, so today's topic is about how to strengthen our relationships with the 5 love languages. So these 5 love languages is a concept, right, that a lot of people are aware of. In fact, I think everybody here must have heard of it at some point of your life. That's why this is something that's interesting for you to try it out. Okay, so what are we going to be talking about today? So first, we will have to address what are these 5 love languages. Right, so we're going to go through one by one what each of them is, how to display them, what it looks like. Then after that, we will go and try to figure out what is the meaning of understanding their love language, their love language, not my love language. Then the last part, we want to look out for potential pitfalls. And then, of course, we will end with our very popular question and answer session. All right, so if you are first time joining us, okay, my name is Jackie, and I represent my organization. So if you can see all of us purple shirt, we are actually from Team Nila. So Team Nila is the National Sport Volunteerism Movement. And of course, we are in the same family as Active SG. So we are part of the Active SG family. So you can see us moving around at most of the sporting events like the Stand Chart Marathon, this and that. So why are we doing this talk? Right, it's because since circuit breaker has started, all of us are staying at home, and then we decided that perhaps we can use this time to learn something interesting that help us to improve our interpersonal relationship, so that when the time comes and we are starting to volunteer again and we meet our public again, we are well equipped with new skills, new knowledge on how to manage interpersonal relationships, so that we become better as a volunteer force altogether. Right? So again, if you got any question, please feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to help you to address them with regards to your work, family, or your friendships. Cool? All right, so let's move on. The first part is to talk about the 5 love languages. So as all of you know, these 5 love languages come from the book, right, written by Gary Chapman, which describes 5 different ways how love can be expressed and be received, in a relationship, in a 2-person relationship. It could be a romantic relationship, it could be a friendly relationship, or even a friendly or family relationship, right? So it works, regardless what kind of environment you are in. So all we need to do is just to be able to contextualize, right? So like I mentioned, if you have done the what you call that, the pre-session activity, we have a poll here today. We would like you to just key in and tell me what is your preferred love language according to the survey. So I think all of you will see the poll now. Awesome. Okay, so tell me, use the poll function and tell me, according to the survey, what is your preferred love language? Right? If you didn't do the survey, it's okay. All right. If you have done this survey long time ago and you still remember what the answer is, go ahead and key that answer in as well, so that I know where I should place my emphasis on later.
Jackie, no poll shown, no poll shown.
Have.
My screen don't have poll, only show the 5 love languages.
Yes, so select one. All right, maybe we just give a couple more seconds, maybe about 15 more seconds.
One question only, is it?
Sorry, choose one. Choose
Jackie,
one.
how many questions? Now it's the first question, is it?
There's only one question. There's only one question.
Oh, okay lah.
Mm,
Answer already.
thank
Submitted.
you. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Submit your press the submit button now. Yeah, it's okay, Michael. No worries. Okay, press the submit button now, and I will end poll. Thank you. So all of us will be able to see the result shortly. Yeah. All right. So now you will see the results appear on your screen. Majority of you survey show quality time. I'm surprised. And can I just confirm that none of you have receiving gifts? Zero, ah? Wow. Great job. Okay. So just press I'm going to stop share of the poll right now. Yes, Karen, you have a question? All right. So we will stop share right now, and then we will move ahead and see, and then maybe we'll spend a bit more time on quality time, okay? Now, why this love language became so popular, right? Because as we practice this love language on our partners, be it our romantic partner, our spouse, our family members, or our co-workers or our friends, something that we found consistently is that the more we are able to speak someone else's love language, they will perceive that we are very capable of loving them. Okay? And because they think that way, both of us will have a greater connection. Okay? Because why? You appear to be someone that's very understanding. For some reason, you appear to be somebody who can click with them very well. Naturally, your connection will deepen. Right? That's the reason why this tool is so popular and been very widespread. That's why you see even outside whatever kind of conference, YouTube channels, articles, most of them that is about love will take reference from these 5 love languages. Okay? So if we take a look now, this is about the overview of what these 5 love languages are. All right. So we have physical touch, words of affirmation, receiving gifts, quality time, as well as acts of service. Shall we go deeper into all these different aspects? Okay. Now, quality time. Quality time is, interestingly, is our most preferred love language here within our group today. Now, quality time is very important for us to realize that it is not just about your two people sitting in the same room and watching the same television. Okay, or maybe you're doing in the same room, one person is playing game on the iPhone and the other person is watching YouTube on the iPad. All right, it doesn't work this way. Okay, in quality time, you will have to give your undivided attention. Number 2, you need to be present during the interaction. And then lastly, is the time spent together must promote togetherness. All right. So if you look at the photo that I've placed on the screen right now, this is a very good example of how quality time can be spent between a father and a child. All right. In this case, they are both playing a game and they have something common to talk about, and they are both focused on the same objective. And when they win the game together, there is this connection that is being built with them. Now, when you talk about quality time, right? It can come in many forms. For example, like a shared activity where you all go and hike Macmarichi Reservoir together, or it could be a shared conversation where you all are talking about the relative, or you are talking about something that happened at work, or something interesting that you observed today, and both of you are engaged in that same conversation. Or it could be a point where you are sharing emotions. That means if, for example, something bad has happened in the family, and then both of you are present together and feeling the sadness together, or if like in a happy occasion like a wedding or a graduation ceremony of your child or your relative, both of you are happy for the same person together at that same point in time. That's where the connection can be built. All right. So the pretext to this, right, in order for this to happen, the participant in this quality time need to be able to schedule out the timing to make sure that this time that you've reserved, that you schedule out, it is specially for the person that you are with. Because let me give you an example. Back then, there was when I was in my previous jobs, so there was this particular job that I had where I was always on the phone, right? So for nothing, somebody, like one of the customers will always be calling on my mobile phone, all right? And it got to a point, it got so bad that I wasn't even able to sit through a movie without checking my phone multiple times, all right? And I believe if my wife is listening, she would know, because at that time, there was one particular movie, if I'm not wrong, it should be Avengers or something, one of the important movies, I would say, quote unquote. So one of the important movies, my phone rang in the middle. And I remember I missed out the entire final segment of it because why? I was in the toilet answering the phone call, right? So how do you think the partner would feel in the movie theater left alone? All right, so yes, although we bought the same movie ticket, we were sitting in the same movie theater, sitting next to each other, but there was no quality time being spent. Right? So when you are with your significant other and you are trying to, and your significant other's quality time is their love language, then you will have to schedule out this time, block it, and make it entirely about them. But yes, thank you, Michael. Quality time does not equate to how much time you spend together with the person. It's referring to the quality, as in how focused, how undivided, and how present you are during that point in time. Cool? Since today, most of you are having this as your love language, I will go in a little bit deeper. All right? When we talk about love languages, it is important for us to realize that if today if let's say my love language is quality time, how do I let my partner know that this is something that is important to me? All right. So in that sense, perhaps you can consider to schedule a picnic where it is a special activity that you guys have to do together, and there is a reason to put your phone away, right? Or you could mention something about a holiday, because when you go overseas next time after COVID-19 is over, when you go overseas, you have to purchase a SIM card, right? So maybe you can just purchase a data SIM card and put it in your phone and not into your partner's phone, so that when they want to use the social media, Facebook, whatever, they will ask you to open up the hotspot. So you are in control of the attention that they can give to you. Cool. So I hope these tips can be helpful for you to make sure that your partner is able to give you the attention that you desire, that you crave for. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. Acts of service. Okay, acts of service is also another thing that people tend to misunderstand. Right? In acts of service, we always say that action speaks louder than words. It's not enough to just say that I will help you to clean the dishes. It's not enough to just say that I will mop the floor. You need to actually go and do it. All right? And here is the important part. Acts of service is not a free pass for either one of the person in the relationship to tell the person, hey, this is my love language, and you better go and do that item right now, because if you don't do it, that means you don't love me. You cannot do that. All right, because when you do that, that is not a love language. That's a manipulation language. You are manipulating your partner to do something, and it is not done out of love. So you notice I wrote there, right? This is an action that is done out of love and is given freely. That means if today I were to go and mop the floor outside right now, I'm mopping the floor because I want to mop the floor. I mop the floor because I want to I want to relieve my partner's burden on having to do the housework. And all these gestures that I'm doing with regards to mopping the floor is because it is done out of love. All right. So when you do acts of service, you can it's very easy. Okay, if your partner has this as their love language, then great for you. Because why? You just need to do the small things, because it is the small things that matters. All right. So things like your daily tasks, for example, in the photo, cleaning a car, right, or cleaning something that is significant to them, right? Maybe it's a model, maybe it is I don't know, man. It could be wiping for me my computer screen, making sure that it's free of fingerprint, stuff like that, right? Or it could be another things like what I mentioned just now, household chores. All right. What else do you think can be done for daily tasks as an act of service? Okay, some people can also think about, when I see that my partner is at night very cold and I accidentally took all the blanket, right? So by covering the blanket on my partner, giving my partner a good a good night's sleep, that is in itself an act of service as well. They may or may not know it, but if they wake up and they see, hey, how come I slept so comfortably, they may realize that as well. Yeah, see some comments coming in. Can be small things like just getting water for me. Yes, I remember there was this time when I was exercising at the balcony, and then I was very, very thirsty, and because it was so rushed, I forget to bring my bottle of water. And then my wife just brought the bottle to me, and during the 5-second break time, and when I drank it, I felt so loved, I felt so appreciated, because it was something that I urgently needed at that point in time, and she was thoughtful enough to preempt that action for me. All right. So for your children, there is also acts of service that you can do for your children, right? So for example, if you notice your child is studying inside the room, and he's feeling very warm, and because of some preconceived notion that they cannot turn on the aircon, right? So they turn on the fan, but then you come in and you use the aircon, and they have a nice, comfortable environment to study in. That in itself is also an act of service that your child will definitely be able to appreciate. And then in the workplace, acts of service could be as simple as going to pick up the photocopy or the printout, right, on the way back to the desk for your co-worker. That is also something that people who have this as a love language can appreciate inside the workplace. Cool. And importantly, when you do it, you must be happy, you must do it freely for them, okay, with them of the intention. Now, what is this? The husband always put post-it on the fridge to appreciate his wife. So this part, we will come to that, because the next one is words of affirmation. Okay, so like what Angeline Tan mentioned, putting the post-it on the fridge, you think that this is a service, right? Because you're actually doing something, but this is not the service. Because it is not the post-it that make the wife happy. It is the words that are written on the post-it that makes the wife happy. So in itself, this gesture is also a words of is also fall under words of affirmation. So words of affirmation is words of encouragement. You must say it in a kind way. You use kind words to say it, and you must use a kind tone to say it. All right? And then this, when you say it, you're trying to affirm your partner, trying to make them feel that they are validated, make them feel that they are recognized, make them feel that they are worthy. Okay, so in Asian culture, you think about it, those times when we talk to our kids or our parents talk to us, we always Chinese people, we have this saying, 良药苦口, right? Not 利于病, 忠言逆耳, 利于行. So this sentence says that the bitter medicine is good for you to cure your illness, and the harsh words is good for you to help you in your journey in life. But what they fail to realize is that the way they say it is very, very, very painful. Okay, you can give me a harsh feedback, but you must say it in an encouraging way, then I will be able to take it better. But if you say a harsh feedback like, oh my goodness, Jackie, you are so stupid. You are a whole new level of stupid. How is that encouraging? And what kind of tone is that? How do you think I will feel when if my love language is words of affirmation and you use such harsh words on me? Okay, because people who has this as a love language, they are very sensitive about other people's word about them, about their opinions, about their actions. All right. So let me give you an example of something that will make someone with this love language feel very excited. Okay. So let's talk about this best friend. Okay, this best friend. All right. So this best friend is having someone who is going to get married. All right. And as a best friend, I want to do something for this person who's going to get married. So I created a wedding video for them. Okay, I spend the time, I piece the photos together, I put in the interview, I did everything, and then I publish it on the wedding dinner itself. All right. And at the end of the video, everybody clapped. Everybody was so thrilled at the quality of the video and said and complimented me. Wow, Jackie, you are great. Your video editing is amazing. That's a perfect story that you have created for this couple tonight. Great job. You know, and if this is my word, if words of affirmation is my love language, I will be so overjoyed to be able to hear these compliments, because why? This particular project that I did, this video editing, is so meaningful to me. And having other people compliment this project will make me feel over the moon. Okay? But one thing that we always do wrongly when we talk to people, who has this as their love language, right, is that we always want to encourage them. So we say something like that. Hey, you know what? You've been doing a great job. Back then when I was doing your job, this is how I did it. So end up, may I know who is the subject of your conversation? Inevitably, we always make ourselves the subject of the conversation. So whatever encouragement we are giving them is in fact trying to praise ourselves. So when we praise ourselves, what do you think the other person is hearing? They are hearing that, yes, Jackie said that I'm good. Jackie said that I'm good, but actually what he's trying to tell me is that he is better. So that's not affirmation, okay? Now, so that's why when we talk to them, we need to focus on their experience. All right, you must have spent so many sleepless nights on this video project. You must have done extensive research to be able to come up with this presentation, right? So these are the kind of words that you want to say, because you want to focus the attention on them, right? So one more thing that I will need to caution everybody is that, have you heard of this saying that all of us have a child within us? Okay, all of us have a child within us. So why I need to mention about this? Because this childish part of us, right, is the part that usually do something that we never normally would do when we are sane. Okay, so it's one of those times where suddenly we just be very insensitive with our actions. Like for example, during a conference, during a seminar, and then I start to like, whoa, like that. When the speaker is talking, I start to yawn and stretch my body, right? So why I say that is because there are also times where we will let out some insensitive remarks. Say, "Ayo, this wedding video, so normal. This one, I won't even pay $5 to get someone to do it." All right, so we actually say it without any ill intention, but because the words just came out without any control, all right, and it's very hurtful. So when we notice that the child inside of us is coming out, and especially if our partner is somebody who has this as a love language, you need to be extremely, extremely, extremely mindful. Yes, Catherine. So yes, you can say this is the it, right? The it of ourself that comes out with that there's no control over it. Yeah. Okay, so we move on to the next one, physical touch. So let me see. Let me just quickly run through the participant list to make sure that whatever I say next is going to be okay. All right. So whenever we talk about physical touch, right, it is a common misconception that we are talking about the three-letter word. Okay? It is not. That is not the point. If for somebody with a love language of physical touch, what in essence they are looking for, okay, they are looking for some kind of emotional closeness that is associated with some kind of physical contact. Okay, and many of the experts when they talk about physical touch, they attribute it to our childhood days, when we were a baby. All right, and when we are baby, the kind of attachment that we build with our caregiver comes from the times when they cradle us. All right, when they hug us, when they pet us, when they rock us, and then they give us a pat on the back after meal and all these kind of things. So when we are young, as an infant, as a small kid, right, this is the kind of environment that shape our emotional attachment. Because why? The more our parents are willing to hug us, the closer we feel to our parents. So that's what some experts think is the stem of this love language. All right. So yes, like what Michael mentioned, it is about the pat on the shoulder. All right. Maybe the pat on the back for a good job. All right. Maybe a hug during a difficult situation. All right. Maybe a shoulder to cry on if the person requires some kind of support. Now, those of you who have done some kind of volunteering work in an elderly facility, all right, be it a senior activity center or a nursing home, right? How many of you have experienced that just by holding the hand, of the elderly when he or she is talking about their life story, all right? Have you experienced that when you do this action, all right, it brings about a different level of closeness, like as if you guys suddenly know each other on a new level, all right? Because this gesture itself speaks a lot. It speaks about you willing to go that extra mile, all right, and also speaks about them to feel safe and be willing to open and become vulnerable to you. All right, that's why this physical touch, as a love language is very, very powerful. All right, but here I also need to make some disclaimer. All right, even if today, I go out and tell you, I say, hey guys, Jackie, my love language is physical touch. Doesn't mean that I appreciate, people come and touch me all over the place. That's not what this thing means. Okay, we're talking about appropriate touch. All right, like how buddy they put their hand on each other's shoulders. Okay, not that kind where I like example here is comfortable, here is weird, here is no. Okay, you don't come and hug me like that. This is not the physical touch that I'm looking for. Okay, if you want, you can just tap me on the shoulder like, hey Jackie, how are you today? Okay, that's fine. But then you don't like, oh Jackie, wow, your muscle feels so big, feels so good. No, doesn't. This is not physical touch. So guys, please be mindful. Even though I'm talking about physical touch as a love language, but there is a level of appropriateness in it. All right, and I see here that many of you are actually agreeing with me that it happens a lot in the elderly home. Cool. Yeah. And Vivian is correct to mention that you need to ask for permission. So before you put your hand on their shoulder or whatever, you just like, uncle, auntie, is that okay that I just rest my hand here for a moment, stuff like that. Make sure that they are aware of what you're doing, because it is very sensitive when it comes to body to body contact. Yeah, and like what this user mentioned, right? When you and this physical touch is also expressly seen in sports, especially when people do the high five, the chest bump and all this kind of stuff. So these are things that happen. Yes, COVID-19 cannot physical touch, but of course with your family members don't forget that. It's not just about others, it's also within your own the family circle as well. Can? And then now, last but not least, this is receiving gifts. But interestingly, none of you selected this as your preferred love language. So let me tell you something. This receiving gift is my love language. Okay, Jackie loves to receive gifts. Just kidding. Please don't give me anything. All right. And why is this a significant love language? It's because the gift in itself is a symbol of your thoughts of the significant other. It is also a token of your affection. So think back at all the times when the child asks the parents to go out, when you go out overseas for work trip or whatever, please bring me a gift. Why do you think the child is asking that? Right? When the parent come back from a long trip, do you buy me a present? Right? It's not because they need one more train. It's not because they need one more toy figurine. That's not the case. The reason why they are asking whether did the parents bring any present back is because they want to know whether the parents got think about them during that trip or not. Because in order for me, I don't know about you, but for me to buy a birthday present for another friend, for other people, it takes me at least 4-5 days to be able to do that. Why? The first 3 days, I'll be looking at the internet, trying to find a suitable gift. Then the next 2 days, I'll be walking around all the shopping center that I can find in order to find that suitable gift. And more often than not, I always end up with nothing. Because I know that giving a gift is very symbolic, is very significant, especially for things like that, because you want to give something that reflects how you are being portrayed to your friend or the significant other who is going to be receiving this present. Cannot be everybody's birthday I go and buy the bath soap with a towel gift set. Right? I know you can do that, but that is not what giving gifts is about. It's not about just buying something randomly. Right? Yes, exactly, Danilo. It's to show that you care for them. It's to show that you are thinking of them. And this present, for somebody with this love language, when they look at this present, they will always, this present is to them is a physical reminder of their relationship. Okay? So let me share with you something that's so common which we all overlook. All right? You look at this thing. Okay? This is a wedding ring. And wedding ring is one type of gift that may or may not cost a lot of money. All right? Some people buy the very expensive diamond and all this thing. But then some people don't even have diamond. Why? Because there is a symbolism to this item over here. It's not about the value, all right? It's not about the price tag. It's about how I perceive the value of this. It's the symbolism of this ring that makes it so valuable, right? Even though, let me just tell you, this particular model easily can buy from any shopping mall outside. It's not, I didn't buy like a very special ring. All right, just can buy from any shopping mall. All right, but if I lose this and I buy a new one, that new one will not feel the same as this, right? So that's why giving gift is very significant, and it's important. If your loved one is the one with this love language, you need to be extremely thoughtful in this particular gift. Cool? So now we already run through all 5 love languages. Let's move on. Okay? Because the next segment is extremely important. One of the biggest misconceptions about love language, right, is that people use this love language as my love language. So they go around and like, wow, I attended this course, it's so helpful for me because why? I understand what is my love language. Then can I ask you a question? You know your love language, so what? Right? What can you do about it? There's nothing you can do about it, because why? If today you go and take this knowledge, you say, okay, Jackie tell me my love language is receiving gifts. So I end this call, I go and tell my husband or I tell my wife, hey, you know what? Jackie told me my love language is receiving gifts. So I think tomorrow you go outside and buy me a present. No, it doesn't work that way, right? So understanding love languages is to help you as the person who have read this or learned this knowledge to go out and go out and improve your relationship with the significant person. So could be your spouse, could be your child, could be your co-worker, whatever, right? So it's for you to learn so that you know what is their love language. Okay? So let me go into a little bit more. Why theirs? Why theirs? So now I say love language, right? So let's imagine I take the word love out. I call it a language. So today I learn Malay, I learn Thai, I learn German, I learn Japanese. So I ask you a question, why do I learn other people's language? To benefit myself or to help me to communicate better with other people? Obviously option 2, right? I learn other people's language so that I can go and talk with other people. So same thing, I learn love language is to be able to go and talk to other people as well. Understand? So that's the reason why love language is never about us. It's not about us as the learner to go and figure out what is our love language and then expect people to go and do our style that we like. It's not. It's that we learn the love language of other people and we do their style so that they are happier. Okay, thank you, Anthony. That's right. It's to understand other people better. Cool. The next thing that we need to talk about is mismatch. What if today I learn this love language and then it doesn't match with my partner? So for example, my love language is, let's say it's receiving gifts, right? And my partner's love language is quality time. So does it mean that because we all have two different love language, we cannot be together anymore? Right? So let me just share with you, it is not a deal breaker at this point in time. Because although if you read the book actually share that if my love language is receiving gifts, then the love language that I will most commonly express out will be to buy gifts for my significant other. Same thing, if today my love language is quality time, then I will keep wanting to spend quality time with my significant other. All right. So, but there is this interesting thing. Sometimes, even though two people with clearly two distinct love languages come together, all right, you can actually learn what their love language is and demonstrate it, or you can, both of you find some kind of common ground, because some people in their relationship, right, actually none of the love language are being spoken and their relationship is still fine. So there are couples with this kind of example as well, right? So yeah, it's not really a bad thing that if two of you have different love languages, because you are perfectly capable of going to express your other people's love language. Can? So if today I'm receiving gift, my wife like quality time, I can definitely spend quality time. Just that I need to be a little bit more conscious about this to make sure that I actually got block out the time. That's why I share those tips with you. Right? If today mine is physical touch, and then hers is, what's the other one? Acts of service. Right? So it's not that I need to like every day go and hold her hand, that kind of stuff, because maybe she doesn't like it, right? So I'll know that she's acts of service, so I will be okay. You know what? This morning I wake up 10 minutes earlier or half an hour earlier. I can start to sweep the floor first, right? Or maybe when the rain is coming already, I go and keep the clothes first. Also, if mismatch, never mind. Can learn. We will be able to adapt to our loved ones' love language. Okay. Now, this is the one that has the biggest problem. You all see the photo. This photo I'm trying to bring out the explanation. 一刀闯天下. So if today Jackie teach me all the 5 love language, my partner like one of them, does it mean I just have to always do this particular one love language and then they will love me forever? Yes or no? If my wife like quality time, so I every day only spend quality time. The dishes can wash by themselves, right? The gifts, forget it. What is birthday? What is wedding anniversary? No, okay? Please, you learn this love language, you get an overall general knowledge about what love language mean, what is the love language that your other partner prefer. Okay, you learn what they prefer. So for example, today you go to the food center. There's chicken rice, there's lor mee, there's prawn noodle and everything. You know, I like all of them. But maybe there's one particular dish that I like most. So it could be chicken rice. But does that mean that every day I eat chicken rice, I'll be very happy? Huh? Correct. So a variety is needed in order for you to maintain this relationship. Okay, so a variety is needed. But of course, during the significant days, or you know that the day has been especially hard on them, all right, giving giving them a shoulder to lean on after a hard days of work where they at the TV, they really just very tired, they want to lean on your shoulder, right? Or maybe you know they are so tired after a long meeting, you just go and help to prepare the dinner lah. If you cannot cook, go downstairs and buy, right? Or maybe if you can purchase a gift, like for example, on the way home, you pass by the NTUC and you saw her favorite milk, the maybe the Korean banana milk, right? So maybe that's their favorite one. So you can actually just buy one packet and give to them, because why? It's so meaningful, it's so thoughtful that even though you are busy at your own work, but you have time to think about them. You see how this thing works now? Okay, so it's not one love language to rule them all, it's a variety, but that one particular one that suits them, this will be the one that can really, really turn a bad day or a bad relationship or a bad situation around. Can? Now, let's move on to the things to take note. Things to take note, these are very important. Okay, 3 things. The first thing, unspoken expectation. Let me share with you a very interesting story. Okay, my love language, example, my love language is acts of service. But then when my wife tried to help me to do the housework, she always does it in a way that make me angry. So for example, I like to, let me think of an example. Okay. I like to sweep the floor, then mop the floor. Okay, I like to sweep the floor, then mop the floor. But what my wife like to do is she like to vacuum the floor, then she mop the floor. Okay, so if whenever she do the housework, then I get upset, then I like, hey, don't do that, leh. This is not how I want to do it. Okay. Then after that, my wife stopped doing the housework altogether. Right? Because in her mind, it's like, you know what, I do for what? Even though I know his love language is acts of service, but then he keep on complaining about the way I do the housework. So if that's the case, then I don't do long. Maybe that will make him happier. Okay, now I ask you this question. Is that true? Because I complain a lot about the housework, so you don't do the housework, it will make me happier. Is it true? Okay, remember I shared with you in the first lecture about anger, right? So under anger, there's a lot of other layers. So same thing, under my complaint, there's also other layer. And the most significant layer is that when I complain, it is because I care about this a lot. All right, when I complain, it's because I care about this a lot. So yeah, it's not to tell you that I don't want you to do the housework. It's to tell you that this is very important to me. So that's why I'm actually giving you this feedback. Hopefully that you can do it. I'm not saying that this is the right thing to do, but I'm just telling you that there's a lot of expectations there. Like for example, if you don't buy a gift, if your other partner's love language is receiving gifts, and then you are some kind of person, example me, you're some kind of person very cheapskate, refuse to spend money. So when you refuse to spend money and you refuse to buy that gift, then one day you will start to hear things like, why is it that my friend's husband always will buy them flowers? Well, you see downstairs that receptionist girl, she received a flower from her boyfriend. Where's mine? Right, so these are all the expectations that come out on the day-to-day conversation, which are mostly unspoken, that you need to be able to go and capture, so that you know that, oh, you know what, maybe I have neglected my partner's love language. Maybe it's time for me to do a little bit more. All right, the responsibility is on you, because why? You attended this lecture. All right, you attended this lecture, now you have this knowledge. That's why the responsibility is on you to go and figure out whether you miss out on any of these expectations that were said or unsaid by your partner, and try to rectify your relationship from there. Okay? Now, the next thing is about the quantity of the love language action versus the type of love language. So, some people will be like, hey, Jackie, you know what? I don't know what is my wife's love language lah. Oh, Jackie, I don't know what is my wife's love language. But I just really like to buy a lot of gifts for her. Also, every day I buy her a present. Also, like I buy her a teddy bear today. Tomorrow I buy her, some I don't know lah, some new fancy knife to cut vegetables. And then maybe the next day I buy her some famous egg tart from Orchard Road. But then she doesn't seem to be happy. Then I look at the person, I also feel confused, right? So if you don't know what is your wife's love language, and then you keep insisting that this is something that she likes, so you keep buy, do you think the wife will be happy? Right? The answer is no. Exactly. So even if you do the wrong love language many times, it's not as effective as you do the correct love language one time. Yeah, think back at your own example. Or maybe you don't like to eat duck wings, but then your husband keep buying you duck wings. Right? But when actually all you really want is to enjoy a nice movie with your husband. So out of 10 times he buy the duck wings and you're not happy, but that one time that you all go to the movie theater and watch a movie together, that was the time that totally you turn the relationship from bad to very good. See, so you just need one good one can erase 10 bad ones. So if you want to be more economical and make your relationship really solid, find out what is their love language and then try to incorporate bits and pieces into your daily life. Make your love life more exciting as well. Okay? Now, one more thing I need to mention. Why people stop doing love language actions. Okay? If today in your relationship, none of you are addressing each other's love language, sometimes you will start to feel a bit of unfairness. You'll be like, wow, this Jackie tell me I need to go and understand what is my partner's love language. So I go and understand. Then I do. Right? But then he never do for me. He never do for me. So now I feel imbalanced. I feel like, wow, my effort is unreciprocated. So now what I do? I stop doing. All right. So the reason why we stop doing is not because our relationship is bad. Even we perceive that we are on the unequal side. We perceive that we are on the losing end. So I don't want to lose out, right? I don't want to lose out, right? So you don't do, I don't do, lor. Right? What do you think is the outcome of this kind of attitude? Right? Same. It's going to lead your relationship downhill because you don't do, he don't do, there's no love going to happen inside this couple relationship anymore. Okay? Yeah, like what Vivian says, split. Correct. Or dirty house. That's a very practical way of looking at it as well. So lastly, I want to talk about the flip side of the love language. So the love language is nice, is beautiful and all. Okay? But guys, let me just share with you something that is really important down here. Love language. Example, my love language is words of affirmation. Can I ask you a question? If I do a exact opposite, if this is not my love language, if this is my hurt language, what is my hurt language? If my love language is words of affirmation, what is my hurt language? It's also going to be words of affirmation as well, right? So if you give me words of affirmation, I will feel extremely happy, which also means that if you destroy my words of affirmation, I will be extremely sad. All right? So today you learn this love language. Good for you for your self-understanding, good for you for your partner understanding, right? But then you also must be very careful because at some point you will also learn this in your own experience that whatever love language your partner is, the exact opposite is also the same way to go and hurt them. So please take note of it. Never ever do this to your partner. Just like how acts of service, once you turn it around, it becomes manipulation of service. right? So we also don't want to manipulate our partner to do things for us, because why? We got together for a reason, correct? Right? So same for your children, they are born to you as your child. Please don't go and manipulate them. Please don't go and destroy them, right? Because at the end of the day, we want to build a loving, healthy relationship so that everybody can prosper together. Cool. So before we end, I just want to, we have the question and answer segment. Anyone has any question would like to share with, any questions to ask for today's topic? Okay. Yeah. So I'm just looking through at the comments. It looks like everybody understood the topics quite well. Yeah, I'm just sharing all these. I'm just sharing all these examples. Not that it's really true as happening or what. Just to help you to contextualize and understand it at a more local level. Yes, thank you, Catherine. Right. So Catherine mentioned that the love should be unconditional. Right. So again, I mentioned we learn this love language. Right, is for our own understanding, and the main focus of learning this is to understand them. It's not about me, right? So love is unconditional in the sense that when we do something for them, we don't expect that, today I answer your love language, tomorrow you answer my love language. No, it doesn't work this way. Angeline, in Asian context, it might be different. Okay, interesting that you brought up cultural differences. Asian context, the way we express love is actually the same. All right, but there's just a little bit more pride and ego that's in the way that is preventing us from being able to express this love. That's why, same like last week, I bring this topic again. It's called humility. We need to learn and understand ourselves. We bring ourselves down to be able to answer other people's love language. Right? So yes, Asian culture got many things good, but one thing good is about this. One thing that is not good is about the face. We always scared that we don't have face, right? 没有面子, right? So then, we feel embarrassed, we feel ashamed to go and do something for somebody that we really, really care about. Until the day we lost it, then we start to regret, right? So I think this is the part where as Singaporeans, we have the benefit of being culturalized by both Western and Asian values. So here is the part where actually can do a bit of adjustments to make it happen. Because the next generation, like I mentioned about the intergenerational gap, right? The next generation focus more on communication, right? So if you not able to communicate and answer the love language, right? Then you are just going to lengthen the generational gap in terms of how your family relationship will look like in the future. Okay, Anthony, does love language applies between country leaders communicating with one another so that this can prevent war from happening? Wow. Okay, Anthony, I think you've been asking about international kind of relationship. Maybe I just share with you what I know. So international relationship, right, doesn't really follow interpersonal relationship, because international relationship has many underlying currents, underlying nuances that will affect the outcome. Because at the end of the day, there is many stakeholders in this relationship, not just the country A, country B. There's also the people of country A and the people of country B. Then there's also the neighbor of country A and then the neighbor of country B. And you know what's the worst part? Country C is looking at them also, right? So there's a lot of underlying factors in play that can potentially affect international relationship, which not this kind of model of conflict management or love language can answer. So I hope this part I can address it for you lah. Cool. So yes, we must have flexibility and consideration towards one another. That is something that is really important in terms of understanding your peer. How do you manage the How do you manage other people's needs as well as your needs, and then try to balance those things, right? So this requires a bit of flexibility. So for all of you guys who are listening in right now, having this knowledge is the first step. Because why? Now that you know, so that when it happens, then you'll be like, oh yeah, actually I heard about this before. And Jackie did share some tips, what to look out for in order to prevent things from become worse. Cool? Great. This takes a few conversations to fully understand each other's love language, coupled with practice and patience to put all those expressions of love into action. Thank you, Patricia. That is a very beautiful summary. Cool. And it brings me to the last slide. Love is a choice. Love is a choice. But then this is not a one-off choice. You don't just make this choice one time. You make this choice again, again, and again. What do I mean by that? Every morning when you wake up, all right, and you look at your significant other, when you look at your significant other, be it your wife, your husband, your child, right, or whoever, like your workplace people or whatever, all right, you step into the office, you make a conscious decision whether today you want to be a loving person, you want to be a hateful person, right? Whether today what you are intending to do, all the words that are going to come out of your mouth, all the gestures that you're going to do, whether is it going to hurt the person or to love the person, right? So you actually can make this choice the moment you wake up, the moment you step into the office, the moment you see your child and they say good morning to you. All right. And then each time they respond back to you in a way that is really difficult for you, now you got another choice. A choice to like, oh, should I respond back in love or should I respond back in hate? Cool. So this makes us the person in control, how we want to love our partner, no matter how difficult the situation may be. So before I move on to the next one, yes, like when you ask a question, right? Does love language change at different stages of life? The answer is a big yes. Okay, because if we just simplify things without going into too much details, the younger generation, right? They tend to place more emphasis on physical touch. They believe that the touch refers directly to how much love that they are willing to give to each other. Hence, many of the various decisions that they make. However, as they mature, and then they grow up, right, they start to realize actually there are other things that are more meaningful. So then that's when the formative part of love language occurs, right? It's definitely something that shifts across time. Yeah, because maybe now all of us are at the working phase and then we work. So we don't feel like quality time is very important. In fact, we feel that acts of service is more important at this stage of time, because why? We are always so busy and we just want someone to be able to preempt our needs and help us. And in that sense, we feel very appreciative and very grateful, right? But then when we come to a stage where maybe workload decrease and perhaps we reach semi-retirement or full retirement, and then that's the time we feel like, wow, you know what? Actually, spending time with my loved one is more important. So actually, I prefer to call back people for family dinners. I prefer to go on holiday with my family or my really close friends. So yes, love language definitely changed across the lifespan. Okay, any more questions? If no questions, then we'll move on to the next exciting segment. Okay. Right, so we come to the announcement segment. This week, or in fact tomorrow, right? Tomorrow during the workout with Team Nila, we are going to have Pauline together with our guest, Mr. Wan Shamsuri. He's our volunteer in the North area. So Mr. Wan, although he's a volunteer, his day job is one of the center staff at a senior activity center, and his specialization is exercise. So if you were to go and catch his videos on YouTube and Surya, right, actually you'll notice that he likes to do a lot of kampong music, kampong dance, and then incorporate some fitness into it. So it's very, very fun, very interactive workout happening tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. on Zoom. So if you don't want to go on Zoom because you scared camera shy, you can go and check it out on the Facebook page, the Team Nila Facebook page. Apart from that, normal programming still happens this Friday for Team Nila Got Talent, as well as Saturday for the Aong Show. All right, so stay tuned. For more information, just follow us on Facebook, Instagram, in order to know what's happening next. Okay, so Yes, if just now I noticed somebody was also asking me, hey Jackie, you say all past episodes have been uploaded onto YouTube. How do I find them? So very simply, just open up youtube.com. In the search bar, search for Team Nila, right? And the first result you see with the Team Nila logo, that's it. Click into it and you will see in the playlist segment, we actually categorize all our online content according to the various playlists. So for the Wednesday side talks, you will always see it in the same segment, and then the list will just get longer and longer the more episodes that we do. Okay, and then of course for those of you who have some questions and then you are very shy to ask it, over here, please feel free to send the questions through to team_nila@sport.gov.sg. So we will then address your questions via email. If not, then we have come to the end of today's segment. Thank you, and I hope you guys can provide me with some feedback with what you want to hear next, and then we can definitely make it happen, just like this particular episode. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.